Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be episode 2 of Chosen's Corner. And in this episode, I'm going to be sitting down with StewGaming. Chosen's Corner is just a podcast type episode where I bring on a guest that would be interesting to talk to and kind of just go back and forth and have a podcast style conversation with them. So yeah, I'm excited to hang out and chat with Stew, and I hope you like it. All right, let's get into it. Alrighty, and here we are. Now I am joined by Stew. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Chosen. How's it going? I'm doing great, thanks.
All right, awesome to hear. It's actually been on our list for a while to finally get together and do a video. I know it's been a month, and we haven't even ever done a collab.
That's right. It has. It's been a while. We've been talking about doing it for quite some time, so we're really getting around to it. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's just dive into a little bit about you. What's your backstory? How'd you get into Raid being your main game, and your history in gaming, and how'd you get to this point and all that?
Raid Shadow Legends. I have been, I played on global launch. I'd been playing for a while, played tons of other app games, and then I just decided to start doing YouTube because I was bored. So I was just sitting around the house. I live in Japan with my wife. She's Japanese, our kids. And I moved here after the military, and I didn't really have a lot to do. So I don't speak Japanese, so I wasn't really working a job here. And we're kind of far away from good places for me to go work at, bases, the embassy, things of that nature. So I just started doing YouTube for fun in the beginning. It gave me a reason to shave every day and get up and do things. So my wife enjoyed it because I wasn't being so lazy and just watching TV all day or, laying in bed, sleeping, taking naps. And I started doing YouTube and I had a good time. You get involved with the community like you do, and it's a blast. It makes the game a lot more enjoyable.
Awesome, yeah. And when was that? When did you get into Raid first? What month, or
What month did I start YouTubing? July. I think the end of July I started doing it, somewhere around there.
Oh, okay. Of this year. And when did you start playing Raid?
Raid on global launch, whenever that was.
Oh, you said that. You said that. Sorry. You said that. I missed.
How long ago was that?
Global launch would have been November of 2018, I think. Something like that.
Okay. It feels like it's been years.
Does that sound right? Because I didn't play on launch.
Yeah, I guess that's somewhere around there. I just feel like I've been playing it a long time, even though we haven't been playing it that long.
Yeah, I came in a little bit later, about just after the Shamrock fusion, if you remember that.
Right, I do.
Okay, so I came in, I missed that by a couple days. So right after that ended, so basically April 1st, I think is when I started playing. But yeah, what other games did you play before? What kind of led to this point?
Oh, games, app games. Oh man, I used to, back in the day, MMOs, World of Warcraft, all that kind of stuff. Everybody played that I know. And then I started playing app games because I have kids. It just makes it so much easier. You have the phone, you can play it. And I've been playing app games for about 7 years now, I guess. I got into my first app game I ever played was this old Marvel card game a long time ago. And that's when I got the taste of app games and how ridiculously expensive they all are.
Yeah.
So then I got into Summoner's Wars for 3 years. Marvel Strike Force I played for a year before I got into Raid Shadow Legends, and I really loved that game. But Epic 7, all the rest of them.
So
Knights Chronicle.
How would you rank them? 1 through 5? The ones you just listed, how would you rank them?
I really love Summoner's Wars. Balance and content is amazing. Turn-based game, gacha, just like Raid Shadow Legends. Epic 7 is good as well, but I like Raid more than Epic 7 just because of the art style.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel Strike Force is a beautiful game and a really good game. They just kind of turned me off when they did the Red Star. It's super RNG to make your champion powerful there now, and that was after a year of playing. But I would still be playing Marvel Strike Force every day right now if they didn't do that. That game is beautiful. It's a fun game, and who doesn't love Marvel?
And so for the people like me who have never played any of those games, what do you mean by the Red Star? What kind of mechanic was that? What did it do?
It's a total. All right. Well, everybody watching is going to be playing Raid Shadow Legends. So if you have a max level Bad Alcazar, and all of a sudden you could make that champion 75% stronger stats wise, up its HP, defense, attack, everything. Critical damage up by, well, I don't know about critical damage, but up by 75% more off of a random RNG. You buy a ticket and you can either get 1 star or 6 star. And of course, it's heavily weighted for the 1 star. You pay for it, and the 1 star only gives you a 5% increase, 2 star 10, all the way up to 75% for the highest star.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean,
and so how expensive are those tickets? In Raid, what would that cost?
it would cost you $100 for maybe 3 rolls, and the rolls are random. So you don't even get to pick what champion you're going to put it on. So it could roll for bully.
Oh,
It'd be 1-star
wow.
bully. That's how RNG it is. So after that, I left the game, man. The whole
Oh,
game
yeah,
rioted.
that's crazy.
That's exactly. Could you imagine? And I could see Plarium doing that, right? They could go in there and say, okay, you buy this. It's going to be RNG on who it lands on, and then it's going to be RNG on how many stars it is, so how strong it makes.
I'm gonna have to like edit this out. I don't want them to see this. Like, get ideas.
Right? Give them ideas on how to monetize.
That would be
so.
Oh, I would probably quit. Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's exactly how it works, and that's exactly how it works to this day, and it still blows people's minds of why the company did that. Still, it's insane.
Yeah, screw that. Okay, so you think Summoner's War is better than Raid, like overall?
Overall, it is a much better game. If Summoner's Wars had the aesthetics, the look of Raid Shadow Legends, then we wouldn't be playing Raid Shadow Legends. We just wouldn't. No way.
But Raid is much newer. So was Summoner's War better than Raid in its first year?
Yeah, it was still better.
Oh, wow, okay.
I don't know about its very first year. Around the first year, yes. They kind of, after the first year, they went really fast. Their development is much faster than Raid in general. And, like most companies, they kind of listen to the community, but sometimes they do their own thing.
Yeah.
Well, they did their own thing, but they hit every point. It's like, World of Warcraft coming out and being much better than Dark Age of Camelot or EverQuest or whatever before it. Still taking things from that, but really fine-tuning it and making it really enjoyable for globally. Everybody enjoys it. So, yeah, Summoner's Wars just hits everything right on the head and just makes it great. So.
See, and what's funny is like 3 years ago, I was bored and I downloaded Summoner's War and I hated it. I played it for like an hour and I was like, this is dumb, and I deleted it. But that was like 3 years ago. And then you fast forward 3 years and I'm bored. I download Raid and I'm hooked. I just started. Yeah, so it's just weird how different games can appeal to different people. Because like you played Summoner's War, you were hooked. I played Summoner's War, and after an hour, I was like, this is dumb, and I deleted it. So it's just weird.
Yeah, it is, because it's the same gacha concept, right? Summoner's Wars is the exact same thing. We roll to get the champion. We go get armor. We farm the armor, the gear, and we try to hit those substats. If we don't hit it, we sell it. It's the same exact concept, same exact thing. I mean, Raid is based off of Summoner's Wars. So, I mean, you would think you would have liked Summoner's Wars at least a little bit, but maybe the graphics. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. The visuals, like the cartoonish stuff, I just can't do. Like you said, I think 95% of people would compliment Raid on its look. Usually, people love the art style compared to like the cartoony, kid type stuff you see in other gacha games. It's definitely the art that probably did it for me.
Yeah. And I think Raid, over in 3 years' time, what do you think Raid's going to be like? I think Raid will be pretty in-depth, better, way better, of course.
Yeah, I mean, like, can you imagine when they actually flush out Faction Wars and they add the Void Tower, whatever that is, and the second clan boss, and like the 3v3 arena, and I'm sure they'll rework the clan boss so that you're not punished for actually having a full clan of good players. Like, there's so many things that over the next like year and a half will probably get fleshed out. And just imagine how good the game would be then if you looked back like 2 years. But yeah, who knows? They might mess it all up. You never know. It's
right. Might and Magic Elemental Guardian was the same way. It came out, it copied Summoner's War completely. It looked good. Same exact system that we have here, same exact bosses that we have in Raid, same thing. But they kind of, instead of continually copying Summoner's Wars, they went off on their own thing. They were like, okay, we copied them enough. We have the groundwork. Now we're going to do our own thing. And they pretty much just blew it completely. Now Raid isn't doing that. Raid's kind of branching out, doing their own thing. They're doing okay with it, but for all of us, they're taking a while. We want that artifact sorting system. We want that tower. I mean, the tower adds a lot to me. I love the tower system. I don't know if you've ever played other games that have
I don't even know what, like, this is my first game like this.
Right. Well, the tower is fun because it resets every month. We usually have about 100 floors that reset every month, a normal mode and a hard mode. And then at each floor, at each 10 floors, we fight a boss, like a mini boss. Yeah. And we'll be able to do debuffs on it that we wouldn't be able to do on like a dragon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
and then we have different teams to fight it, but we get rewards on that. So say we go up to stage 50, we get an epic book. We go up to stage 100, we get a legendary book along with other stuff, and you get coin along the way, and it gives you a full month to try to get through it, and then it resets, so we get those rewards again.
So it'll be like a testing progression tower.
Right. Well, it's fun because, you know, if you don't beat it in that month, you get to go back, and they rotate those, so the boss might be different, and then you have to always bring in different teams because it's different affinities, different mechanics, and it's a good. You feel really good once you beat it. Is basically what it comes down to, because you get good rewards, and it's a fun, challenging time to do it, but not as challenging as like stage 21 of Faction Wars.
Yeah, that's just insane.
That's the issue, right? I mean, we want challenging content, but they don't want to balance it to the majority of the people. Because I feel like you and I should be able to complete anything if we have level 60 legendaries and we have plus 16, you know, we have maxed out artifacts, a good great haul. We should be able to complete it, right? With most teams.
Like, I feel like content should be designed where, like, the top 1% of your players can beat it. Like, and they design Faction Wars where, like, the top 1% of your players just get dominated by Faction Wars. So, like, so who's it marketed to? I don't really know.
Right. That's what they do with a lot of their content. So I don't get it. That's why I'm worried about future things coming out. I hope it's not like that. I hope it's tailored to be difficult, but not for just only 1%, for only people with unkillable teams, or, you know, 4 martyrs. It should never be like that. It should be open for a lot of other in-game players, always.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think, and then they claimed they made Faction Wars easier, but they only did it, like, from my testing, from what I can tell, they only made it easier from, like, the first 11 levels. After that, it's exactly the same.
I think 15 I do a lot on a lot of the factions, and I think 15 is just a tad bit easier.
Because, like,
maybe
my undead faction was on, like, stage 14 or 15 or whatever, and then they claimed they nerfed it, and I played it the next level again and got dominated. Like, it didn't change at all. Like, it was the exact same result that it was before the nerf.
Right. Yeah, definitely the higher stages weren't changed. If they were changed by very, very small amounts. But the lower changes, the lower levels were at least, I think, nerfed pretty good amount to let people at least progress a little further.
And that's good, but the higher stages should also have been definitely tuned a little bit. But it is good that the introductory levels people can get into
a little further, right? Yeah. And every faction is different, though, because there's so many factions that aren't as strong as other factions, no matter what champions you have. So it's just silly. I don't get it, because some people are running with like 3 bad L's or whatever. You know, they're trying to just use whatever advantage they can because it's so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
They can't just use.
And there's some factions like Skinwalkers that are just like terrible, and you have you have no prayer.
Yeah, and what, Bannerlords, unless you have crazy.
Yeah, the Bannerlords,
a couple Raglins.
They at least have a fleshed out, like, roster. The Skinwalkers have, like, you know, what, 3 legendaries and, like, what, 1 usable epic, Steel Skull. I guess Bannerlords isn't any better. None of the epics are very good. Maybe Rowan is, like, okay with the stuns and.
Right. Yeah. They're. It's just. I don't know. And the thing is that they come out with and they're just like my Magic Elemental Guardian. They come out with this content that's totally different, and when they do it, they come out with it, but it's not working properly. So then they take 3 or 4 months to try to correct it, and they still don't fix it properly, and they've wasted all this time. So that's pretty much what happened.
Do you think maybe the problem is Summoner's War has been around longer, or like the company that makes it has been around longer, and they were more equipped? Like, maybe Plarium wasn't ready for Raid to be like a top 10 game on the App Store, and they kind of got over their skis a little bit, and they weren't ready to, like, crank out content and satisfy millions of players. Like, do you think I'm just playing devil's advocate? Like, I don't know. Do you think that's possible?
I don't know. They have at the Ukraine office, they say they have 600 employees.
I mean, but like,
that's insane.
But why would it take 8 months to add, like, artifact sorting? Like, isn't that something like an intern could program in? I mean,
I don't know about that, but I know that if you have 600 employees, you can pull some people away from other projects and get some stuff done. I'm sure about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why something so simple. I mean, well, I guess I'm not a programmer. Maybe some programmer will leave a comment like, hey, you don't know
Right.
how hard this stuff is. But
No, we will.
I would think like adding a checkbox on the artifact sorting screen wouldn't be like difficult in terms of a programming standpoint.
I think in general with these companies, most things aren't that difficult, but they have builds that they're working on and ideas that they're working on, and really it comes down to the top person who gives the okay on it, right? Who says, because I talked to some of the devs, and one said, okay, we want to improve Dark Aethel, but then they take it to the top, and the top guy's like, no, we're not working on that right now. We're not going to bother with that. So that's shot down. And I think it really has to be the person at the top has to be hands-on, in control, and have their vision played out. But their vision that's going on right now isn't necessarily what our vision is, right? So we don't get what we want. So we need that person at the top to say, hey, artifact sorting is very important to everybody right now. It's important to me. I want this in now. We need to get it done. Whatever build we're working on in the game, future builds, we have our current build, we have other builds that we're working on. We need artifact sorting in that right now. Let's switch gears. Everybody work on that along with a skeleton crew working on whatever else. And I don't think that's happening. I don't think the top person is in line with what we want.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I hope they can kind of, and I think Christmas will be a big deal because it's kind of a time of the year where people are off of school, and a lot of people have time off and they're kind of browsing for new games to play in their free time. So hitting this market, this upswing of Raid's popularity the first holiday season, I really hope they can hit some home runs with like the fusion and the events going on.
Right. Yeah, I hope so, because I wanted the we wanted the roadmap to come out now.
Yeah, so I don't
Right?
know what happened with that. That got put on the back burner. And the game has to have been more successful than they thought it would be, right?
I don't know. I would think that they would have projections on this game and know that it's going to be successful. I mean, they could already tell Summoner's Wars, Epic 7, all the rest that have come out before it. We've got Fire Emblem, Knights Chronicle, Might and Magic Elemental Guardian. Any of those games that came out, they can tell how successful they are, especially done properly. So I'm sure the idea, what I get and what programmers would probably tell us below, is that the foundation of the game wasn't the best program-wise, and they've kind of had to go back and redo so many things. That's why they can't just jump to putting in an artifact sorting kind of system right now, because they would just be compounding, building worse programming on top of bad programming anyway. So they want to sort through all that. They want to kind of rebuild the game totally from the ground up, which takes time. Then once they have that set, then go into making things better for us. And that's what's happened in the past. That's why we had this big lapse in time so far. Because they told me it's harder for them to make old champions, rework them, than to do new champions.
Yeah,
because of coding. So I don't know.
Which is why every patch we see like 16 new champions, and everybody's like, right? No.
which I don't care. I don't care why you're having issues, like why you can't make balance. I don't care about that. Just fix it. For us, we don't care, because that's what they act like. Oh, we work so hard. We do so much. We're working hard. You don't see what we do. And I'm like, that doesn't matter to us. We don't need to see what you do. I know you're working hard or whatever else, but we need what we need, right? And I don't think we're asking for too much. Are we asking for too much to get these kind of things in there?
I mean, but like, there's also things that it can literally just be tweaking the numbers. Like, you don't have to completely rework a champion to balance them.
Right. I don't think so either.
Like, you can tweak numbers. You can make them hit harder. You can make them have a higher HP, a higher attack, a higher base speed. Like, you can do things to make a garbage champion usable without like, oh my god, we have to completely reprogram them.
Right.
So I
agree with you, because they're already doing it, right? They're still balancing right now. Like, they're telling us that, but they're still doing small balancing. So I agree with you. They can definitely do it. And again, it needs to be that top person in charge needs to, get control and say, hey, this is what we want done. Let's do it. I think to be able to, we need to go over there and take charge. Is basically what needs to happen.
Yeah. Hashtag Plarium Raid.
Yeah, could you imagine if we could go over there and they had to do what we said?
Oh, yeah, just like take over the studio. Right. Hostage.
That would be, I'd love it. I would love it.
One thing I wanted to get your input on, because I haven't even bothered, because I kind of said months ago, I was like, there's just no way. I don't see a world in which they release the Platinum Arena that it will be worth it. I said that months ago. Anybody that's watched my content or my stream, I've been saying for months, there's no way Platinum's going to be worth it. And then it comes out, and I'm like, I've been saying this forever. I don't think it's worth it. So, like, so I've never even bothered, like, going into Platinum. But you have.
Right.
So, looking back on it, do you think it's worth it? Do you think it was done right? Are you glad you stay in Platinum? Do you think it's better to go in Gold 4 and just speed farm it stress-free? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, it's always best to speed farm stress free, no matter what. Put a weak defense.
See, that's what I
put
think.
a weak defense, right, and drop down.
Yeah.
And speed farm it, because first off, you're always spending a lot of time doing other things in the game. You're farming all the time, so for sure, like you're saying, do a weak defense, get your tokens in there, get those great haul points. You're good to go. But is it good to? Yeah, it's always good to have additional content, layers upon layers of content. Whether we participate in it or not is always fantastic in any game. But this should have already been in the game. Like a long time ago. So only thing they need to do now is tweak it, right? We need top 100, top 300 rewards, top 10 rewards at least. They just need to tweak it with rewards, and like any game, you know, they own another game. They bought out Rumble Games, which is they own Big Fish as well, the gaming company that make a lot of other app games. So they own this one game that's been around for a long time that is a turn-based game just like this from Rumble that has an arena shop that has books for their champions. And then Epic 7, Summoner's Wars, all the other ones, even Marvel Strike Force, different kind of game, but that as well has whatever you need to level up your champions books wise. So why they would come out with Arena first and not add in a shop for us all to be able to get things from, buy things from with our, what are they called? Great Hall tokens? I don't remember the name of it.
Oh yeah, the tokens, yeah.
Yeah.
Or medals, whatever.
The medals, yeah. Why they wouldn't come out with a shop now when they release that, I don't know. But they're going to, I'm sure. But they release things in really small increments.
And so like I think it should be, like you said, there should be tiers. Like the ranked players, first of all, it needs to be higher than top 300. It needs to be like top 1,000, and then they need to layer the rewards, like you said. Like there should be like a top 20, a top 100, a top 200, a top 500, and a top 1,000.
Right. For
like,
sure.
You need to layer it more to give more people an incentive to participate in. Like when you just make it top 300, there's no incentive to get like top 10. You might as well just stay low in Platinum where it's easier.
Right.
The only incentive is like bragging rights, and then it's so glitchy and buggy, and you never have opponents. You know, like I don't know. I think it was a good idea, but I think it was implemented poorly, if I'm just being honest.
Right. And I don't agree with them adding that 5% additional HP defense, and they should have just left that out. I really don't like that in Arena, how they add the additional HP percentages, defense, and the additional stats, especially for 300 only people. I mean, I'm in there all the time. I'm up there, but there's no reason. I don't feel there's a reason why 300 of us should have higher stats like that.
Oh yeah, you mean for like, well, like
for placing.
So you think it should just be rewards?
Just be rewards, like you said. You know, once they have the rewards, the top 10, top 1. Once they give us 500 gems for number 1 person, 300 gems for the number 2, and then break it down into different things. Once they have that, that's our incentive already. And to compete is the incentive, right? We have a dynamic now content that we go into, and we have to think about every day depending on who we face. Now, do we sub in this champion or that champion? Do they have high resistance? What am I working with? So it's already content that we always, we make the content because we're fighting against other people, so we get to have always changing. So that is content enough. Like that is it. That's fine with the top 300. We don't need that, and with rewards, but we don't need that additional. I don't think it's fair to have 300 people have such a 5% increase in attack, defense, and HP, even though it's not a lot. I just don't think it's needed.
Yeah, I don't know what to think on that. I'm kind of neutral. Because, like, I'm neutral. Like, I agree with what you're saying, but I agree with their point of trying to give people an incentive to get up there.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know what to think on that. But that's a good conversation to have. So what do you think happened with the roadmap? Do you think we're just, like, screwed on that? Like, the second clan boss, that was teased, like, 4 months ago.
Well, you did the video on the clan boss. We've all done videos. I think every YouTuber out there, current clan boss situation since global release, and like you said earlier about us being able to keep our teams, our clans together, and all you'd have to do is tweak some numbers. So I don't know. I don't get it. we knew it. I knew it would take longer for them to implement all this stuff for the roadmap. I really didn't believe 100% that it would be ready, and I was still mad that they wouldn't just go back and fix the clan boss, like we've all talked about. So I don't know. Like I said, they had to rebuild a lot of stuff, so it's taken a lot of time, and I'm just hoping that they're done, that they can move past it and start getting us some extra things out there. But it would do a lot. It would go a long way if they had some goodwill and would give us a fixed clan boss. Like if they took your idea on your video that you did for the clan boss and just implemented that, I mean, just think how much happier the current player base would be.
Yeah, that would be. And for those who aren't familiar, what I said was, instead of the clan boss damage counting down to 0, it should just count up and be a running total. That way, if you and then you just hit a certain threshold and your whole clan gets the rewards. So instead of it going to 0 and now no one else can get rewards, it would count up and then everybody can get their damage in, no matter how much you can do 1 billion damage, and it won't hurt your teammate. That way you're not punished for having a full good roster of clan. But yeah, I don't know why they can't just switch that around. But
and it'd be so amazing. It would be so amazing too, because then you add another layer on. Because okay, we flip it. Now we're doing damage, and we can see how much damage our clan's done on the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. Say total damage, even if they went well above, like they're just blasting it. Then we can have leaderboards for clan bosses and have the top 10 leaderboards of the clans that are doing the most damage to the clan boss, and give out a really small reward, which more competitive nature, more people spending, more people playing. It's just fun. I think that's fun.
Yeah, no, I think it would be incredible. So what would you focus on then if you were them?
If I was them right now, the first thing I would do is 100% balance 50% of the champions in the game and artifact sorting. I would just go back and balance them.
Balance 50% of the champions in the game.
In the game, yes.
So,
Yes.
So my theory on this is they actually don't want the champions to be balanced, because like they want there to be trash legendaries and god tier legendaries, because then like if you get a legendary and it's always good, what's your incentive to buy more shards, you know?
Well, I would say that in a gacha environment like this, that it won't matter, because I know people who have like 5 copies of Martyr, 2 Warlords, and they're still spending way more than I would ever spend on a game. Nonstop. So regardless of them having they still want it all. They still want to catch them all, right? Pokemon, you got to have them all. No matter what, there's going to be people in gacha games that will spend. Always. And I would still, and look at me and you. Do you think, like, we have Bad L, you have a Draco, you have a Martyr, you have whatever else, but we still spend, right?
Yes, but I don't spend near what I used to. Like, my first month I didn't spend a lot. Months 2, 3, and 4 I spent my most, and then since then, now I'm about 10 months in, or no, like 8 months in probably. My months like 5, 6, 7, 8 have all kind of slowly been tapering off less and less.
Right.
Because
I think that's because of the game, right?
Yeah,
that's because of
they need new content. They need a new reason for me to like get excited,
Right. And I think that's where, like we were talking about Tower earlier, if you had to really change up, kind of like Faction Wars, you've had to make different teams for Faction Wars. You've had 60 things that you didn't necessarily want to, or at least make them a little bit stronger for Faction Wars.
Yep.
So yeah, that makes you want to spin shards still. So there's reasons for us to spin it. And if the game was better, like we want it to be, then yes, I think we would keep spending more, even though we have those powerful champions. So I can't really agree 100% that they don't want to buff legendaries just because of that reason. Because those other games that we're talking about that we've already went over a million times, those other games out there, they have a good balance. And that's one of the good draws about it.
So like on Summoner's War,
balance.
there's no like terrible legendaries?
Not now. I mean, of course there were in the past, but not as many, not like this game. And plus, the game was never designed to like this game, and not many games are. Like, this game is one of the first gacha games I've played where they have tiered debuffs and buffs, lower versions and stronger versions.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like the 30% decreased defense and 60%.
Right, which severely gimps those uncommons, rares.
Yeah.
Even some epics that we have out there. So, can you imagine that if our rares had the higher versions?
Yeah,
they'd
yeah.
they'd be really useful. I think some of them would be really, and some of them do. Like we've got War Maiden, we've got the marked girl who does the 60% increased defense on a
Yep.
3-turn cooldown for 2 turns. So we do have some of them, and those are our top tier rares.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and they're not broken, and we still. And here's the funny thing: like they're strong, they're good, people can use them, but they're not so overpowered that we don't like. I still use as our Gala instead of a War Maiden. So I'm
Yep.
still gonna spend. We're still gonna try to get better
Yep.
champions, but War Maiden is still phenomenal champion. 3-turn AOE, decreased defense. I just don't. And the other games never did that. All the other games I ever played didn't have this 2-tier difference, and I think it really hurts this game in a sense. And if we were to flip it, sure, we'd have to go back and balance some rares, some uncommons, whatever else. But that's fine. You go back and nerf them a little bit if they're too strong. But I think it would make, in whole, I think it would make the game more enjoyable, so we could use just different teams.
Yeah,
like
I think their goal was to make it easier to differentiate between rares and epics and legendaries. Like your legendaries are always going to have the big versions, and your rares are always going to have the small versions, and your epics are going to be kind of a mixed bag. I think that was kind of like their goal initially.
Unless you're Black Knight or something. Or
Yeah.
whoever else has the smaller versions, those, and that's, I did a video recently on balancing all the legendaries in Bannerlords, like what I would do to balance them. So I went over just the Bannerlord legendaries, not that many, and exactly what I would do without recreating them, without going in there and changing their skills. I wasn't trying to just like totally rework them. I was just saying this is what I would change right now.
Yep.
Very easy to at least make them really playable and enjoyable to get, because we just had that sacred summoning.
Yep.
That you wouldn't feel bad about pulling a champion, a legendary champion.
Yeah.
And it was easy. Like what I said was pretty easy and not crazy stuff. And if they did that, then in the future we could always, go back and rebalance. But definitely balancing is my number one. If they balanced the game and gave us an artifact sortment system, I'd be making so many videos praising them all the time.
Yeah. I've I obviously love balancing, and I have my tier list that I always work on and update. So I'm really into that stuff, and yeah, I don't know why it's so hard to do balancing more often than every 3 months. I think I agree with you. I think that's a big problem. I think you need to be balancing and shaking up metas and stuff way more often than changing 3 or 4 champs every 3 months.
Right. And those champs usually aren't that good, right?
Yeah. Like, and then you change Cythalia, and like, instead of being awful trash, she's just trash. Like,
Right.
so you didn't really change anything, like.
I know, it's crazy. And she's one of the ones that I mentioned in there because she's part of the Bannerlord, about how to, make her decent. And when I talked about her, I went and showed Scartosis, I went and showed Smash Lord, and Duchess Lilitu, and their abilities and what they do compared to her heal. And I'm just like, how can you justify her having this kind of ability when you've got other people out there with crazy things along with other crazy abilities that go along with it that make them so good legendaries? But
See, that goes back to my theory that they don't want to. They want there to be trash legendaries and god tier legendaries to make you extend the life of you as a spender. Because if let's just say every legendary is godly, and everybody who pulls a legendary now, you can do stage 20, and you don't need to get the Bad Elves and the Kaimars and all that. It extends the life of your player spending money. I think maybe that's their philosophy.
Right, it could be. They could be thinking that, but that's they shouldn't.
No, I know.
Because
I agree.
I still want those champs. Because if they're all awesome, then that means I want them more, even more so. Because I can complete that content. But if the Bannerlords have really cool champions, and I got one, like I just got Chamfort recently, I'd be excited.
I agree. Like if I were a designer, I would be trying to balance them. I'm just saying that maybe that's their thinking, is trying to extend the life of a spender.
It could be, and like again, I think it all goes down to that one top. Whatever that one person's philosophy is at the top, they're not like a Steve Jobs. They're not in there making sure that this game gets, done. My thing is, like, if I ran that company every day, I'd be playing games. I'd be playing this game, and I would be going each of the departments that I oversee, even those department heads that we do meetings with. I would be in it, man. I would be in it. That's
Oh,
just the
for
type of
sure.
person I am.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
want to know what everybody's working on. What are you doing? I mean, I wouldn't be over your shoulder, breathing down your neck or anything, but I would be heavily involved in every minor detail because it would be my baby, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel the same from how we've talked off camera and stuff.
Yeah,
I would,
about making games. Sure,
yeah,
sure.
I would love to be a part of that and be in there and see it all and be able to help. But they don't seem too interested in getting any help from any input. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
outside help. Well, they ask us from time to time, right? They ask us, hey, what are the most common things that players are asking for? And we tell them, and players are always asking both of us, right? They're always like, hey, can you tell Plarium this or that? And I'm like, yeah, we've told them 100 times. Believe me. Believe
Yeah,
me.
and that's why I haven't been as gun ho about that, is because I feel like they're just doing it to be nice, Like, okay, let's make them feel like their opinion matters, but like in all reality, like when you pat a kid on their head, like, yes,
Right.
yeah, yes, I understand. Okay, that sounds good. I think I get that feeling. It's like, let's let them feel valuable and like their opinion matters, but it doesn't actually matter.
I'm pretty sure whatever we fill out when they ask us to, they just immediately delete it. They're like, oh yeah, this is from them. Never mind, delete, and they throw it away.
And
So
I don't know. So I don't know. Everyone I've dealt with from Plarium is really nice and really nice to me. So I don't want to like be too harsh, but
no, they're great.
But that's
But they're
just
not
like the general feeling I get from like the big
Right.
picture.
They're great, but the people we're talking to aren't the main people in
Yeah,
charge. Like
yeah.
I wanna chop it up with the main people in charge. If there's one or two of the main people, that's who I want you and I to talk to get a feel of what they think about the game and what direction they want to go. Because we talk to all these other people and they have great ideas, but they're just like programmers or lead of a department. And even though they have ideas, those ideas get shot down still. That's still not their final call on what gets done.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk to that person. That's who I want us to talk to. And at least then I can get a feel, even if they don't agree with everything we say, we can, at least if we have a conversation, we can probably get a feel of if they play games, if they play this game, and what direction they kind of want to take it. I would think then.
Yeah.
And if we go out there, if we ever go out to the Ukraine, we probably will be able to get a hold of that person. Now, if we go out there and they say that person's not available, I'm upset.
Yeah, no, that would be rough. Well, that's something we would iron out before going. Like,
I bet they're gonna tell us that person's on vacation or dealing with something on the other side of the world.
Well, that would have to be ironed out before going. Like, hey, what are we doing? Who are we talking to? What's the purpose? Who do we get to meet? Where are we staying? All this type of stuff would get ironed out. I hope anyway.
Yeah, well, we've seen people go there already, so that we know they're gonna take care of it. So it's gonna be a fun time regardless. If we ever get another chance to go out there, it'd be a fun time. So that's not in question. I just want to make sure we get to talk to some other people, just for fun, just to see how those top individuals are.
Yeah, it would definitely be an interesting experience for sure. Well, we're about to hit the 40-minute mark, so
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was fun. We kind of time flies, and we just started talking, and that's always good when you have an episode where you can just kind of shoot the crap and have fun talking. But before we end, let people know what you do and where to find you, and I'll definitely provide links down in the description. But tell us a little bit about what you do and your channel and all that.
Yeah, my channel, I just do same thing as everybody else: champion guides, community updates. I use a lot of rares, a lot of uncommons as well. Anything fun out there, arena stuff. All the regular stuff everybody else does. I do that. StewGaming on YouTube is who I am. And then on Twitch, which I really don't do that often, StewGaming TV, you can see all that information, and Discord, all of it from my videos for sure.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, and I'll definitely put links for those of you that are interested. Definitely check Stu out. He does really good stuff, and that's obviously why I had him on here. So yeah, yeah, you bet. So yeah, that's gonna kind of do it. And thanks for joining me, Stu. It was a fun time.
Thank you, Chosen. Appreciate it.
You bet. All right, that's going to do it for this video, Chosen's Corner Episode 2 with StewGaming. I will have links to his stuff down in the video description. Definitely go check him out and support him. He's a really cool guy, and I appreciate him stopping by to hang out with me. So, yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.